Hello everybody and greetings and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back with the series. Day number 29. Band number 29. Album number 29. So I've chosen an album today that, like I said yesterday, this album also wasn't on the list originally, but I had to have it in there. I ended up pulling somebody off who I liked the other album I pulled off a lot, but it was too new. Like, I'd only been listening to it for a short period of time, so this one I've been listening to for a fairly lengthy time, like back to the late 70s, early 80s type, so 40 some years on it. So I thought it's got to be on this list and deserves to be on this list. And there's some similarities between yesterday's band and this one too, is that this is the fifth studio album from this band. Both bands came about the same period of time. Both have a similar style to their music. They were both hard rock bands, kind of more poppy as they went along. So we're talking about Canadian band though this time. Yesterday's band was an American one. This one is a Canadian band, Trooper. Flying Colors is the album, released September 4th, 1979. Yes. 10 tracks on this, all pretty solid, ranging anywhere from that kind of poppy sound all the way up to a kind of a pretty hard sound in a couple cases. They did do one cover on this album by the Kinks, All of the Day, All of the Night, which they did a decent job of it. I think it's a little more poppy than the original, but not bad. So, featured on this band at the time was Ray McGuire on vocals, Brian Smith on guitars and backing vocals, Frank Ludwig on keyboards and vocals, Tommy Stewart on drums, percussion, and backing vocals as well, and Donnie Underhill on bass and backing vocals. So everybody kind of sang in this group. They're kind of a vocal type group. The funny part is that, if you look, Trooper's still touring now and there's nobody left in the band from that time period. So another one of those legacy bands or bands from the 70s or 60s that no longer have any original members. And now you begin to wonder, is this going to be the way it's going to be? You're going to come back in 20 years and there'll be all these legacy bands and nobody will be in the groups anymore that was originally in them. That might be the case. You don't know. Anyways, this is a pretty solid album. Other than the cover, they do three. I forgot what I was going to say now. Went out of my head. Oh, they do some pretty heavy stuff on this, especially on the flip side, because this was back in the days when, of course, we know that all the albums are going to be like this, or back in the days when they were two sides to a vinyl album. And this had, the back side was, I think, a little bit better to me. Drive Away, great song, and Janine, I like that one too. Mr. Big, all good stuff. Yeah, so a pretty solid overall album from a mid-range. They had some, did have some success with their albums, and in fact, this album itself has a couple of well-known individuals playing as guests on this. Steve Lukather, and I believe it's Jeff Porcaro. Or Steve Porcaro. One of the Porcaro brothers is on this album anyways, playing, just doing some guest stuff, the same as Steve Lukather is on here. A couple of other people too, but those are the notable people. Yeah, so a pretty solid album. I think it's, I like the album cover too. It's a guy in a cockpit with like a flyer, like a what do they call them? Like a gun pilot, or whatever you want to call the fighter pilot. That's what I was looking for. So like a fighter pilot. So very, very different cover than some of their other stuff, but I like it. It has that big Trooper logo at the top as well. So if you haven't heard of these guys or haven't had a chance to examine some of the older Canadian stuff, this is a band that I think is one of those bands that's worth listening to. I kind of think of them in that same era as Prism and Chilliwack, there's another band, some of those bands like that. So they fit into that mode very well. And they're a little bit heavier than some of those other bands. They have some fairly big hits too, but not so much on this album. But this album is a good album. I think it deserves to be on here. So for day number 29, the band and the album are Flying Colors by Trooper. I hope you like this. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's much appreciated. Any comments, leave in the comment section below. And we'll be back tomorrow with another, well, this is actually coming out tomorrow, so the following day on the Friday, we'll be back with day 3 or day 28. Another band. And this band will be very popular with Australians, I'm sure. So take care, and we'll see you then. Bye.